Omaha's news leader. This is KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle.
Good morning and thank you for joining us on KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle. I'm Bill Shammer. Over the course of the last month, wildfires have burned western and central Nebraska. Nearly 900,000 acres of Nebraska's crop and grazing lands are now ash. The fires began on March 12th. We've tracked 7 different ones. Those fires charred the landscape and have lasting effects on the lands, the lives in their path. Today's Chronicle is dedicated to those who have bravely battled the fires and the relief efforts for the ones affected. The QR code is in the middle of your screen. Scan it and you'll be brought to our web article on KETV.com. There you can find links to donate and help those impacted by the wildfires. The first fires started on a hot street, claiming the life of one elderly Arthur County woman and destroying almost everything in its path. Let's recall those moments less than a month ago. Chronicle's John Grinvalds put those scenes into words.
The roar of the fire, the heat, the wind, it's just almost like a jet engine.
Blazes blanket hundreds of thousands of acres in Nebraska, and at least one person in Arthur County has died.
It's almost indescribable. That's probably the worst we've ever seen.
Governor Jim Pillen issued a statewide burn ban and made an emergency declaration ordering the deployment of National Guard personnel and assets to support the firefighters working overtime. In a statement, Pillen said in part, quote, anyone living within proximity to current wildfires are urged to heed communications issued by local authorities, including their respective county emergency management agencies. The North Platte Police Department put out a warning Friday afternoon, urging some residents to evacuate.
It is a very serious situation.
The Salvation Army of Omaha springing to action on Friday.
They're bringing one of our canteens, our big food trucks out there, as well as another SUV packed with food and supplies to help.
Their workers and volunteers braving brutal conditions.
And the smoke got so intense as he was trying to serve those guys really close to the front lines, they all had to fall back a ways, another couple of miles, to get to a safer spot where they could pause, get those meals, and get back to firefighting operations.
Lancaster County saw 4 major fires threaten fields and homes on Thursday. There, as in much of the West, it's volunteers shouldering much of the work.
We are incredibly grateful for the dedication of our rural volunteer firefighters. These men and women give their time, energy, and sometimes leave their jobs at a moment's notice.
Reporting for KETV News Watch 7, I'm John Grinvalds.
That was a glimpse at the first week. Since then, a total of 7 confirmed wildfires have started across the Cornhusker State. Crews have worked tirelessly to contain and put out the flames that have burned about 900,000 acres. To give you an idea, that's roughly the same size as Douglas, Sarpy, and Lancaster counties combined. The destruction has left a massive need for those who have had property, land, and livestock burned in these fires. Nebraska's U.S. delegation is working to help those impacted by the destruction in securing really much needed federal disaster funding. Right now, I am joined by U.S. Senator Deb Fischer from Nebraska. You have seen the burned land, the hundreds of thousands of acres. What was your first impression?
Devastation. You know, having to look out of a Chinook helicopter at thousands and thousands of rangeland that's been burned and destroyed by a very fast-moving fire, and feeling the grief that families go through as they're trying to deal with that loss.
When you're talking to these farmers and ranchers and volunteer firefighters, what are some of these accounts that you're hearing?
Well, for the most part, I think people were grateful for the help that came from their neighbors and their volunteers, from other fire departments, from the Omaha Fire Department, Lincoln Fire Department. The feds came in as well with folks that are ready to fight those fires. But you're going through 5 or 6 years of drought. You have really high winds blowing from different directions. It was hard to manage the fire. It was hard to get control over the fire. So just the fear, the uncertainty, but also the gratitude that these people were showing those who came to help.
You come from a ranching background. What is the impact of a loss of grassland like this? We're not hearing about a lot of buildings. We don't know livestock numbers yet, but we know about the grassland. How does that impact these people?
ranchers care for their land. They manage it well. It is the source of life to be able to have that rangeland, especially in the sandhills of Nebraska. We have the best cattle because of the care that's given to the land and the grasses there. So there's, I think, a tremendous sense of loss, but also a determination to rebuild. It's going to be costly. It's going to take time to replace thousands of miles of fence line that burned and destroyed. I haven't heard on livestock losses where we are on that, but these are family ranchers who have generational herds that they have loved and take care of for many, many years through generations. And so, yeah, just the sense of loss that's there. And time to, pull your boots on and get to work, but also to recognize the depression, the sadness that is there, and that you have neighbors and people who care for you, who will be there for you to be able to handle that mental loss and depression that you feel as well.
From the federal perspective, what can the U.S. government do to help these people?
Well, first of all, to respond quickly. We were able to have the Secretary of Agriculture come out last week with the governor, with Senator Ricketts, with Congressman Smith and myself, and for her to have that visual to take back to Washington, for her to have those conversations with these families, extremely important. And so she knows the losses that we're facing. I have a bill dealing with emergency disaster aid. And it's a bill that I've had tacked on to other legislation in the House and in the Senate. Strong bipartisan bill, great support for it. And I got up on the floor in the Senate, you can do this, and asked for unanimous consent the day after we got back from touring this area. Asked for unanimous consent. Nobody objected, and so we passed the bill on a voice vote in the Senate, and hopefully now the House will take that up. And that's really just to be able to get that disaster aid that people qualify for, to get that disaster aid out to the people that need it faster, to offer more flexibility. They've qualified for programs. Let them access that funding and access it now when they really, really need it.
Senator, we only have about 30 seconds, but these are people that are so self-reliant. They're not used to asking for help. How do you convince people in this time that it's okay to lean on a neighbor?
It's always okay to lean on neighbors. And I think in rural communities, we see that every single day. People help with brandings. They help their neighbors with helping them wean cattle, helping them move cattle to summer grass. So while it's, it's an independent bunch out there and very self-reliant, we also know how important it is that we work together as a community, and that's where we're headed now.
Senator Fischer, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Let's show you that QR code once again to scan to our KETV.com article with the links for those affected by wildfires and links to donate to those helping with the disaster relief efforts. Still ahead on KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle, a victim recounts coming home and seeing nothing but black on both sides of the road. The chilling story about how their house survived while others burned.